Hey, it's Gina, and we are here talking about LinkedIn and how to build our community on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a little trickier because when we talk about building community, we're really talking about building our connections. And when I look at LinkedIn as far as building our connections, it's most of us look at it still. I still see people setting it up and utilizing it as a resume online. And it's really a way to showcase you, to highlight your expertise, to show off your brand. And whether you use a company page or your personal profile, the key is to be findable and to stand out. To be findable on LinkedIn, when someone does a search for your skills or your services, you want your profile to show up in those search results. And then when they have 5, 6, 7 profiles that they're looking at, how does your profile stand out? So you really need to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is optimized for findability. So each day, you're setting aside time to work on your LinkedIn profile. And for some of you, you will use LinkedIn more so than perhaps Facebook. On Facebook, maybe you're keeping content there and posting daily content on a Facebook business page so that when someone does a search on Facebook, they find your business page, they see what you're about, and it's more like a fluid website. On LinkedIn, you might be really working LinkedIn as a sales tool to connect with more people, and so you'll want to make sure that you're setting aside time every single day to work on your profile and to be involved in your communities on there. So this again will vary by the importance you're going to place on this particular platform. On LinkedIn, the key of being findable, it's similar to Google and optimizing your website for findability. You want to do a little keyword research. And what I mean by this is, what are the keywords, what are the phrases or the words that someone would need to type into LinkedIn in order to find your profile? So if they were looking for your services, what are the keywords they would type in? And I want you to make a list of these keywords, because it can't just be one thing. And a lot of times we think of it as our industry or our main business service. But you need a list of keywords so that you can weave those throughout your profile. And places that you can do that. Now, I will tell you, some people try to put it into their name. And so, for example, I've seen people put, Gina Shrek, Gina being my first name, Shrek being part of my last name, and then they'll put Shrek hyphen best keynote speaker on social marketing. LinkedIn has dinged accounts for doing this. Not every single time, because I still see people that have them, but I know people that got notified and that their profile was blacklisted, meaning they did not show up in searches because they put a line after their name. So the key is, if you follow the rules, kind of, because I'm going to tell you ways that you can break the rules, but if you follow the rules and make sure that your name is your name, and then you have some leeway in your headline and lots of leeway in your summary, and if you haven't already done so, be sure to download the resources that in the resources area, or in this course, you'll see the LinkedIn Character Count Guide. And this will give you a great way to open up a Word doc, type out your headline, your summary, your areas that you can play with and add keywords in. Do this in a Word doc so you can highlight and check the word count. You can see how many words or characters you have, and then just copy and paste that into LinkedIn. And I always say save that document, because I try to change out the keywords every so often to see if that spikes the number of views and requests that you get to connect. So you're going to do a little keyword research. You're going to add a few of those keywords in your headline, and then in your summary. And again, in your summary, you have a lot of space to play with. Most people don't even come close to filling out what you can possibly put in your summary, and you have a lot of room to put those keywords in here. Now, don't just stuff a bunch of keywords in. You want to write in a conversational tone, but make sure that your keywords are woven throughout that. And then also in your experience area, and those keywords should be in your skills. So down at the bottom where you have the skills that people always endorse you for, you want to have those keywords. Make sure those are listed. And by the way, on LinkedIn, you can remove skills that you don't want to be endorsed for. For some reason, I had coding. Someone had put in there that they wanted to endorse me for coding. I could not code a website. I don't know HTML coding, but that was one of the skills because someone had endorsed me for that. So I just went in and removed it. And so you might even have skills that are older skills that you don't necessarily want to be endorsed for, but those endorsements will play a part in your findability. So remove some of the skills that are not relevant and make sure you have added in the skills that you really want to be endorsed for. And I know we'll probably get into this in the LinkedIn course later, but you can reorder your skills. So you can move them up higher, and what that does is the skills that show up when someone logs into LinkedIn and they see your profile and they say endorse this person for, it's going to have the skills that are at the top of your skills listing more so and more often than those skills that are at the bottom. So you can reorder them and that'll help you get endorsements. So here in the skills and endorsements area, you do want to keep it up to date. Oh, here I talked about reordering the skills, and all you do is go into edit. So you'll see here on the screen capture here, go in and click the edit button, and you can add new skills in, and you can remove skills just with the little X's. You can delete those skills as well, and then of course, make sure you hit save. Now, recommendations play a big role in where your profile shows up in a search result. So, for example, if you and 2 other people have very similar keywords in your profile, and I do a search for that keyword, and I see the 3 profiles, the ranking of those 3 profiles will be in order of how many recommendations, how many people have recommended you for that skill, how many people have endorsed you. So as much as we think those endorsements are useless, they really do play a part in helping LinkedIn's algorithm to rank you, because they're saying, well, 50 people say that you've got this skill and someone's searching for that. Of course, you're going to show up higher than somebody who has 4 endorsements for that skill. And then recommendations play a big boost as well. So ask for those recommendations. Go through your LinkedIn, the projects you've worked on, the people you've worked with, and send out a recommendation request to the person and get those listed on your profile. Now, daily content, just like every other platform, daily content comes into play. You want to make sure your profile stays not just top of mind, but preferred and top of mind. And when I say preferred, I want people to not just know about me, I want them to think of me in a positive way as it relates to that search the skill that they're searching for. So you want to make sure the content you're putting out has to do with the skill or service that they're looking for. And there are some people that they are working in an industry that's kind of split. Like you might have 2 different consumers. You might have a client consumer, and then you might work with contractors, or I know speaker bureaus would work with speakers, and then they would work with meeting planners. So you would have two different consumers, so to speak, that you might have on your profile. I would have people that I work with as our contractors or our employees and our team members that have a skill set, and then we have our clients. So I might have content that I'm sharing that is tailored towards one side or the other. Be careful, because your daily content really should highlight and showcase your expertise in helping the consumer you're trying to attract that will pay you that will hire you to work for them. So consistency and frequency, like every other social channel, it does matter. And we've done experiments on LinkedIn, because for a long time we thought, once a day on LinkedIn is all you really want to post, and that is not true. The accounts where we will post 3 and sometimes 4 times a day, regular content, just like we're posting on Twitter, those profiles get a higher number of requests to connect because their content is being circulated more often. So keep that in mind and schedule good content on your LinkedIn profile. And if you're using your business page, typically your business page is going to only post content coming from you. It's original content coming from you, your brand. It goes on your company page, kind of like a blog on a company website. Versus your daily posts on your personal profile, that might be a combination of content you have created and content that you have curated. So you might find other articles from other experts and you want your audience to have access, or you want to show them, hey, I found this article I find interesting, I'm sharing it with everyone, but it's from somewhere else. So that's really how we differentiate what content goes on personal versus business page. Business page, make sure it's your content. You typically don't want on your company page someone else's content that's probably on their page as well. Now, groups are key on LinkedIn, and yet they are the pain, because groups on LinkedIn, most of them are very, I don't want to use the word spammy, but a lot of the groups, everyone's just trying to sell to each other. They're not really helpful. And it really has to do with the types of groups you find and get involved with. Most people find groups that they get involved with of their peers. So for example, I'm in social media marketing. If I get involved with a bunch of social media groups, of course, I'm going to be speaking and interacting with my peers. Nothing wrong with joining a few of those groups to stay up on news and what's going on. I would need to find a group that was really great at posting current events that are going on in the social media marketing space. However, if I want to get involved in a group where I'm the expert and I can help people, I need to get in groups where there are business owners. For example, for me, getting involved in a hospitality group where there are hotel managers involved in there, because we will do social media marketing for hotels. That would make sense to get involved in the hospitality group. Find a group. Now, you can't go into that group, and some of them won't allow you because they don't, you have to qualify, you have to prove that you work in that industry. But if you can be in a group where you can be helpful and not try to sell to people, you're there to be helpful. Then the content you share in there and the questions you answer in there need to be sure that that information is focused on that industry, and that's so important. Find the right groups, be active, and I say at least weekly. I like sharing my personal blog content into groups because it does show, again, it highlights my expertise and it's being helpful. Now, obviously, on most of my blog posts, there is a lead magnet on there that is going to give an offer to the reader, and so that could convert LinkedIn group traffic into leads as well. But by being involved in a group, proving yourself as a valuable resource, you will find groups to be a really valuable resource for you, but it's time consuming. Now, to make your profile, once it's findable, you have to make it stand out and really look different. And visuals and video are the way to do it. Too many LinkedIn profiles are just text-heavy, resume-looking documents. So you want to add as much media as possible. So long-form articles, those are your blog, could be your blog posts that I typically wait a week or two and then will put them from my blog. I'll then put them on my LinkedIn profile, and you get to add an image, and you'll see this here is my profile, and this top section here is showing an image that is loaded with the long form article that I've written. And that's when you go to write a post on LinkedIn, it asks you, are you writing an article, which is your long form post, or are you writing a status update? Your long form posts show up with a big image, so it stands out, versus your status updates on the right are small and they look like Twitter updates. So, and it used to be that you would have all of your long form posts shown on the front of your profile, and now they have it in this section where it's one, and then you have to click see more or see all activity. But add media on all of your current and past work experience. You can click the little plus button on the upper right of any of your sections of your profile, and typically you can add media. So you want to add some video there, or you can add, again, maybe an article if you had an article published. Get your profile more visually appealing. And now you want to make sure that wherever you go offline, that you connect with people, whether it's immediately right there, instead of asking for a business card, look them up on LinkedIn and say, is this you on LinkedIn? I'm going to send you a connection request. I love doing that. Why do I need your business card? I'm going to throw it away when I get home. Let's connect on LinkedIn, and then again, the relationship can blossom from there. And, thinking digital first is always my thought of, if I do get their business card, right when I get back, make sure you look them up on LinkedIn, look them up on Twitter, look them up on Facebook, and make your connections online with those that you met offline. So this week's challenge is going to be centered around doing a little research on your keywords. Now, if you type in the search box the keywords that you think people will search for, here's what happens. Type in those keywords that you identify. See whose profile comes up on page 1 of that search result. LinkedIn will highlight the keyword within the profile of the person that came up. And if you look at count how many times that keyword is highlighted, let's say that it's in their profile 14 times. If you make sure that keyword is on your profile 15, 16 times, your profile can rank higher than theirs. So keywords, do the keyword research, plug it into your search, see who is coming up in those top spots, look at their profile. Where do they have the keywords? What do they have on their profile that makes them show up in this top spot for the search result? Now go in and add keywords to your profile. Find one new group this week that you can join and begin engaging in if you're not already involved. If you are involved in groups, it might be time to clean house and leave groups that you're no longer active in, or leave groups that are not providing value to you, and find some groups that really, or maybe you just discover the groups that you've joined, you can become more engaged in and provide more value in those groups so you can stand out. Add images to your profile. And I want you to pay attention to how many requests do you typically get in a week. And you can look at some of your stats and kind of go back. How many requests do you get per week on LinkedIn, and the numbers that LinkedIn gives you. But I want you to pay attention to, as you start posting more content and optimizing your profile, see if that number goes up. And I'd love to know in our weekly challenge area, and someone asked me last week where this is. Where is the weekly challenge area in our membership site? If you look at the top of our membership site, it has the community. In the community, I think it's the very last entry in the forums. It's the very bottom one, but that's where we always say post, how things are going, and questions, challenges, successes that you've had throughout the week. So I look forward to seeing what you're doing on LinkedIn. Travel safe.